Um, oops, that's not what I want. Pardon me. That's what I'm looking for. Okay. You guys can all see the PowerPoint, I guess?
Yeah, I can see it.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah,
So,
you cut out.
I'm sorry?
I lost you for like about a minute.
Am I back now?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So back on March 26th, when we first got together after the college shut down, we agreed that we'd finish the course as a series of projects, the Oedipus essay, the abstracts, the presentation assignment, and the final exam. And in light of how quickly things are going by, I've been thinking about some of our due dates and so on, and I think that we really need to consider making a few changes. In particular, I think that we should not have a final exam. And the reason for that is that when I've been thinking about what I had planned for the exam, we've largely covered most of it. Essentially, I was going to ask you to watch the movie 2001: A Space Odyssey in a series of 5 segments and answer a few questions along the way. And then the exam would have been a take-home exam where you tried to connect Ronald Wright's book to A Short History of Progress. But I think we've really fairly well exhausted Ronald Wright's book, especially with the presentations. And I'm satisfied that you got what you need to get out of that book. And I don't think the final exam is really going to give us an awful lot that we haven't already evaluated. I also suggest that oops, sorry, somebody's coming in late here, so I need to just try and admit them. Sorry about that. Oops. So pardon me. I further propose that the Oedipus essay be delayed until the due date be delayed until Wednesday of next week. The briefing notes, of course, we've already done. The proposal, you've handed that in, and as soon as class is over today, our session's over, I will send you your proposal back graded. You'll have to excuse me because the easiest way for me to do it was actually to print the proposals and mark them by hand and then scan them on my phone. So you're going to get a PDF scan from my phone, which is not brilliant, but at least it's readable. And I'll send that to you immediately. In some cases, the proposals were acceptable as is. In some cases, I needed you to make a few revisions. I don't think the revisions in most cases are very extensive, but if you would have a look at the notes, make the revisions, and submit the revised version of your proposal to me by Friday, we can get those settled and out of the way. At the end of today's session, I will also send you one proposal that I received that was extremely well done. There were a few of them that were extremely well done, but one in particular. Thank you, Serge, for letting me use your proposal, and I'll send that out right away. I've annotated it as well, so you can see what I'm looking for, and you've already got a copy of the grading sheet, so you should be able to compare those two things. The PowerPoint slides for the presentation, I'd like to talk about them either tomorrow or on Tuesday. And let's make those due on Thursday, the 23rd, which is the second last Thursday before the end of the course. So the second last week of classes. And then finally, the presentations, we'll talk about those a little bit further moving forward. We still haven't decided whether or not you would prefer to do them live with an audience with the rest of the class, or whether you would rather videotape them and send them to me that way. And we need to talk about that at some point as well. Yes.
I think it might be a good idea to talk about that right now so that we have an idea of how things are, what to expect.
Let's just weigh in then. How many people would like to do them live during the last week of classes? If you would like to do that, would you just let me know right now?
Sorry, Nick, can you just repeat what the two options were?
So option number 1 would be to do them live sometime during the last week of classes so that you've got an audience, myself, but also the other people in the class, and we do it live over Zoom. or whether you would rather videotape it and send it to me as a videotape, and I can make those available to everybody else to watch at their convenience. So how many people would prefer the first option? How many people would prefer the second?
I would prefer the second. I think the second might be better overall, just due to people's different internet connections. People
Yeah,
might not be able to
exactly.
stream
Yeah.
their full presentation.
I think it'd be better as well. I think I'd rather pre-record it and send it.
Yeah, same.
Me too.
Me too.
Okay, it seems pretty universal that that's what people would like to do. If you want to comment further or make another suggestion, please just shoot me a MEO, and that way you can do it. You can do it privately. But at the moment, it seems like the second option is the one that people want. And in the absence of me getting significant feedback arguing for the other one, that's what we'll do. And I'll confirm that in the next couple of days.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, the components of the essay, you've got this on another slide from a couple of classes ago, but I just wanted to revisit it. The essay, the 4 components: a scholarly title, which I'll talk about maybe tomorrow, the formal introduction, which I'll talk about today, the body paragraphs. You shouldn't have any questions about those at this stage, but if you do, please feel free to ask or to send me a MEO. And then finally, the formal conclusion, which we'll also probably talk about tomorrow. And just a reminder that a works cited page is not required for the essay, because I'm not asking you to do any real secondary research. So the introduction, there's 3 components to the introduction. The first one is a hook, and it's really just designed to get the reader's attention and to lead toward the thesis. You've done this before, but I'm just reminding you from previous English classes. The hook should probably be between 4 and 6 sentences long. And in my experience, it's the thing that people have the most trouble writing. And so I'll give you a few thoughts about how you might want to approach that in just a moment. The thesis, which you've already written, at this stage, you've had some feedback from me on your outlines on your thesis, so I don't think there'll be any trouble there. But again, let me know if you have questions. It would include the author, the title. Of course, the title of the play is always in italics, and then the topic that you've chosen. And your thesis is only 1 sentence long. It shouldn't be longer than that. And it should be fairly direct. It doesn't need to be a lengthy sentence. And then finally, the essay map. And the essay map is really just your topic sentences, but with slightly different wording. You can either indicate your 3 topics in 1 longer sentence, or you could do it in 3 sentences. And then the first sentence of each of your 3 body paragraphs should come pretty close to resembling what you've got written in your essay map. Are there any questions about those 3 things?
For the essay map, do you mean like one or 3 sentences long per topics, or
No,
just
in
like
total.
put it all in 1 sentence kind of thing?
In total. So let's say that your first body paragraph was going to be about events in the play are prophesied. Your second body paragraph is that the prophecies come true. Your third body paragraph is there's some pretty weird coincidences that suggest that the gods are having a hand in things. Then your essay map would be something like, those 3 things all compiled either into 1 long sentence or into 3 shorter ones.
Okay, perfect.
Yep. And so really all you're doing is you're indicating in your introduction what you plan to do in each of your body paragraphs. So your topic sentence is kind of redundant of what's in your essay map. Okay, so the hook. If you have trouble starting your essay, sorry for the typo there, here's a few possible ways to begin. Let me start by saying you don't have to use any of these methods. These are just methods that I sometimes suggest to students who are having trouble, with that blank sheet of paper and how do I get this thing started. You could, for example, do a little research and write 4 to 6 sentences about Sophocles. Who was this guy and why do we still read him? You could do a little research and write something about the importance of the play in the history of literature or in the importance of drama. I think I suggested it's one of the most influential and significant plays ever written. And you could do a little research and sort of find out why that is and write 4 to 6 sentences leading into your thesis in that way. You could also do a little research and write just something about Greek drama generally and its effect on, modern drama or modern culture. And finally, you could write something about the topic that you've chosen. So you could write a few sentences about politics and how politics is really about power, who has it, how it's used, how it's abused, how the people at the bottom of the social and political totem pole has less power than the people at the top, and so on, something like that. Same with philosophy. You could talk a little bit about this, this ageless debate about whether or not the universe is ruled by fate or by fortune. How much free will do we actually have in the decisions we make in our lives? Why does history keep repeating itself if, in fact, we do have free will to make smarter decisions and so on? Or psychology. Oedipus, as you probably know, there's the Oedipus complex in Freudian psychology. You could talk a little bit about how the nature of psychology and coming to some sense of self-awareness, which is what psychoanalysis is all about, is really has its birthplace in this play or something like that. Now, you don't have to use any of these ideas, but if you're stuck and you're looking for something, one of those might work. I would just have the proviso that whatever you do pick, make it relevant somehow to the topic or the thesis that you're actually writing about, so that you're leading towards that. Finally, I suggest that you write and submit your introduction for your essay by 4 p.m. I think I had tomorrow written down here on my, if that would be possible, that would be great. The proposal revised, assuming that you need to revise it, and the revisions, I think, in most cases are pretty straightforward by Friday. The essay then next Wednesday, your PowerPoint slides for next Thursday, and then the presentations wouldn't be due probably then until, let's say, the second last day of classes, the 29th. But we could discuss that moving forward as well. So are there any questions at this point?
Would it be possible to submit like the PowerPoint slides on the Tuesday of the last week?
The problem with that is that I need to get them back to you, because if there's problems with them, you need to know those problems before you actually record your presentations.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and also I'll talk to you a little bit about what the PowerPoint slides should look like, and we can do that either tomorrow or Tuesday as you prefer.
Okay. So I guess my last question would be, would it be possible to have the introduction for the essay due tomorrow at midnight, and
Yeah, that's fine.
the final presentation due on the last day of class? I think it's May 1st,
It's
on the Friday at midnight.
I'll let me think about the presentation and get back to you, but the intro by midnight Friday is fine.
Okay, thanks.
Other questions? Okay, I'm just going to stop the share here and sorry.